Do you want to talk a little bit about Storyville?
Sure. Storyville is my big piece that I've been working on with Kristen Anderson-Lopez.
Frozen.
Yes. Kristen and I started together many moons ago when I was first learning what it was to be a composer. I had pursued very much the jazz career and was doing really well, loved it, and then just the universe sometimes, comes up and tells you what your paths you're supposed to go on, and it was so clear I was supposed to be a composer, but I didn't know how to be a composer because I'd always trained fairly to do the performing career. Started asking questions. Maury Yeston was put into my path and took me under his wing.
Maury wrote Grand Hotel, amongst other things. He's a wonderful mentor to me as well.
And love Maury. Maury is
brilliant.
Genius. And he's so great. He's really been a rock for me. He pulled me into the BMI musical theater workshop. Kristen was part of that team, or part of that class. And the minute she opened her mouth, I was like, oh, you. I'm going to work with you. I had a brain boom one day being a jazz musician. I had lived in New Orleans. I'd studied with Ellis Marsalis. I'd spent some time down there. And so as a jazz musician, that history is so a part of your voice and your study and who you are as a musician. It's part of your identity. And Storyville was the legalized red light district down there. This is where Jelly Roll Morton played. This is where Louis Armstrong started his musical career, King Oliver. And so I just had an idea of some of the historical things that happened down there. It's very interesting, some of the stories of the women that happened, how they were able to band together and make a living, what they had to do at a time when they had no rights, but were trying to achieve their rights. This legalized prostitution structure gave them power. It gave them a world in which they had power. So it's just so rich. It's so unique in our American history. And I brought kind of the ideas back, and we started spinning them together and started writing this show.
Wow.
It's one of those things where I laugh and I think, everybody says, don't choose a big show and don't do an original. And we heard all of that, and we were like, yeah,
you've got to write your heart.
And we did what everybody told us not to do, and it's taken us 16 years. And you know what? I have to say I'm proud of it. I've learned a lot from it, and I'm so proud of it, and I can hardly wait for the world to hear it. It is my heart. It is really something central to who I am as an artist.
Well, that's one thing as a writer, which I think you have to listen to. There's a lot of people that say you can't do this, you can't. You have to write what lights you up, because it takes so long, and so much of you goes into the show. You have to be able to write. You have to write you.
There are so many parts and characters that are my identity.
Yeah.
And whether it's because it's my identity that went into the creation, or I've lived with them so long as they've evolved, they've now become me.
Oh, interesting. Kind of osmosis, trans osmosis.
Well, yeah.